We all love a good story, right? We love movies, books, even in sports, there are storylines that we love to follow and we get caught up in them. And when we identify with a character or a situation, it really hits home. Stories are impactful. And listen to this, we all have one. We're living it right now. And not only do we have a story, but there's something in our story that other people might be impacted by because there's a struggle or situation or a victory in yours that they might relate to. Take part of mine, for example. I grew up in the church. Sunday mornings, Sunday nights, Wednesday nights, the doors were open. I was there. My whole family was. Well, in my later high school years, I began down a path that included poor decisions with relationships and partying and all that goes along with that. And that continued well into my college life. I was so far from God and I had no desire and had no time for him. My grandfather, when I was at my lowest and darkest point, my grandfather was a spiritual giant in my life. He passed away from complications during a surgery, and my whole world stopped. I moved home with my parents because at that time I'd already dropped out of college. I started going back to church with my family. I got plugged in serving as a leader in our youth group, and when God really got a hold of my life, it was then that the faith that my parents and my grandfather tried to instill in me started to become my own. The Lord got a hold of me in a radical way, and I felt the call to go into full-time ministry. Since then, my life and my story has looked a lot of different ways, but none of them perfect. I have a beautiful wife. I have three healthy boys, and if you see our pictures, you see just one big happy family. And we are a big happy family, but we are far from perfect. You peel back the curtain just a little bit, and you'll see imperfections. You'll see struggle, a whole lot of real in my family. You'll see a season of grief as we held our baby boy, Colton, who we didn't even get to see take one breath. But there's been a whole lot of happy and growth, and Jesus has walked with us every single step of the way, even when there were some steps we wondered where he was. The point is this: God is using my story. He has used my story, and he can use your story, and he wants to use your story. So don't waste it. If you think your story is too wild, you're wrong. Maybe you think your story is boring and there's nothing really to share. You're wrong as well. God can and will use your story no matter what it is. It's proof that God works in all people, living through all sorts of situations. Your story is unique, it's yours. But part of your story can relate to parts of someone else's story. And together we reveal God to this world, each a different aspect of his character. God can use anybody, and we see that all throughout Scripture. Anybody who is willing. Will you be willing? I want to encourage you. I want to challenge you to do something with me. Write your story out. You don't like to write? Okay, record a video like this using your smartphone. What was your life like before Jesus? And when did you realize you needed him? How did forgiveness and grace impact you? And how has your life changed since? When you've done this, go to communitycc.com/mystory to upload your story by clicking the My Story button. Okay, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me via email. You'll see it above this video or below it, whichever platform you're watching from. But let's let 2023 be the year we start letting God shine through us and pointing people to him by sharing how he has changed us.